And what's behind lucky homeless man number 3? I'm sorry, they're not homeless, they're drunk.
See you, friend. Do I have deals set up for you, buddy boy?
There's of course a chance that they're both. In fact, a decent, near 100% chance they're both, but technically they could have homes. They're just not going to. He's trying to sell me things. He spreads his arms as if wanting to embrace you. What are you talking about?
So what do you want? I got smokes. They're cheap. Very cheap. I got Pilsner. Great deal. You won't get a better deal on that piss. Spirits I can let go for 300 real. Also I have speed. And by speed I mean amphetamine.
300 real for the spirits. Holy crap. Blue medicinal spirit. Oh. Spirits. Does it do something? So it's like, it's not just alcohol? Which is usually what I'm used to hearing when I hear spirits. It has some sort of other purpose. Smokes, plus intellect, minus health. The entirety of intellect minus... Wait. Health isn't a stat. You just mean my health? Like I lose 1 health and I gain an intellect? That's kind of useful. I assume it has a... You know, runs out though. I'm also not great at chemicals. I only am level 2 at... I'm only a level 2 chemical boy. A 21st century chemical boy. Speed bottle. Amphetamine. Aye, by amphetamine I mean speed. It just loops back. I thought by speed you meant amphetamine. Aye, it's what I said. Right, got it. Good, my man. Takes a chug from his beer bottle. Now what can I offer you? Quite the business venture you got set up here. Oh. He gets a proud gleam in his eyes. The system's been good to old Rosemary here, and I'm milking her like a bitch goat in the backyard. What do you mean? You see, friend, he raises his index finger. Man makes his own luck. I made mine real good. Got my hands on 3 bottles of liqueur exquisite. Exquise. I'm hopeless at this game. Sold 2 to the fellows around here and immediately invested the profit. Bought cigarettes, bought beer, even bought a bit of speed. And look at me now. I got everyone on my hook. That's why you're over here. He spreads his arms and smiles a crooked, toothless smile. The hook. Where is it? I can't see it. Visual calculus, calm down. His vice stand? Oh, his stand covered in vices. Right. Looks like you're on your own hook too. Of course. The drunk raises his pilsner and nods. It is what it is, you know? What it's always been. People, buddy boy, it's the people. He has long forgotten what you were talking about. Why does the bottle of spirits cost 300 real? See, friend. He brings out a 1-liter bottle of bluish liquid. The mouth is corked shut. It's real valuable. Worth every real, if you catch my drift. Got it from a bit of a business venture. Let him speak. You know, it's funny, actually. He bursts out laughing, then takes 3 gulps of his pilsner and stares at you intently. He's finding it difficult to focus his watery gaze. What is? What? Keep him talking. What do you mean, what? What do you think was funny earlier? This guy. He shakes and shakes. He says, this guy. He says and shakes his index finger at you. Where'd you get the bottle of spirits from? Oh, this is medicinal spirits, the good stuff. Got it from the doctor's office. It's one of those scientific ampoules of a few months ago. I got one of those scientific ampoules a few months ago. Torpedo, they call it. They told me the jet would give me the jitters. It's supposed to keep a man from taking a drink. He spits a nasty yellow clot on the ground before you. Huh. Like an Alcoholics Anonymous drink, like it's like a cure, supposedly. Didn't stop me for shit, that's for sure. His voice rings with pride. 5 lemons with a half a pack of butter and you're good to go. That sounds dangerous. It was, he croaks. In a week, the goddamn kidneys started giving me all kinds of hell. Finally, the missus took me to a private doctor's office. Not a charity, the real thing. Those assholes. He gets visibly angry. Those assholes charged me 4 real to remove the damn thing. But I came on top after all. Okay, how? Those idiots left me alone in there. Now I used to teach high school biology. I know what doctors use to preserve dead thingies. He gets an exciting gleam in his eye. Swipe the 3 cans of this blue medicinal stuff from the back room. Threw the snakes out and voila! What's left is this beautiful blue stuff. He shakes the bottle. 98.7%, almost pure alcohol. I was gonna say, that's not medicinal at all. 2 already sold to these fine gentlemen here. He nods at his companions. But the last one is yours for 3 real, if you want it. Don't say it. So, he just forgot that he was charging 300 for it? But it's also not medicine, it's just fucking, like, it's like ethanol or whatever, it's like, yeah. It's like, I don't think that's even edible. Let alone a medicine. I think it will prove useful, yes. 3 real and it's yours, friend. The deal of a lifetime. Well done, you got it. Here's the money for the spirits. He hands you the bottle. Just make sure to enjoy that one, friend. I'm off. In the civilized world, it's accustomed to tip the shopkeep, friend, but come back anyway. He waves you off. Tip the shopkeep? I paid for a thing, you fool. The liquid has an unearthly blue tint. The kind that might or might not, but definitely does glow in the dark. This is 98.7% pure alcohol. Keep it away from an open flame. If nothing else, it's worth 8. So I make a profit if I sell it. He was selling for 300. What the fuck did he think it was worth? Why would he think it was worth that? By any metric. That's just confusing. Got any more stories for me?
Tequila sunset.
I do, but as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift. He spins the bottle in his hand. Not a single drop of liquid remains. I do have the spirit, but I'm pretty sure that nobody's supposed to eat that. I don't have any on me right now. He shrugs his shoulders dramatically. Cottonmouth is keeping my tongue imprisoned. Be seeing you. Ah, so I can trade my drinks for stories. That's an alright trade. Book. A primer for small kids. What? A flower trough where nothing really grows. Maybe in spring. Hard to see the details. The color's all warm and welcoming. Cozy though. By the way, congrats to Disco Elysium for winning 4 awards at the TGAs. The TGAs barely matter, but anything that acknowledges a good game is good news. 4 awards. I think it was Best Narrative, Best RPG, Best Indie Game, and Best Debut Indie Game, which is slightly redundant, but okay. But yeah, I specifically got an award for being the best RPG and for having the best writing. It's a just world, perhaps. Although kind of fucked up that Pathologic wasn't even nominated, but I guess some people don't count it, but those people are wrong! Pathologic should absolutely have been on that list. They put fucking Monster Hunter World Iceborne on the list. The expansion to Monster Hunter, which I'll remind you, won last year and isn't an RPG. God damn it. It's literally not an RPG. It's an action game that has progression systems in it, and that's it. Not even role-playing progression systems. You don't like level up like your you don't have NPC interactions that are affected by stats in any way. You don't make story choices. It basically doesn't even have a story, but I got a weapon that's slightly better than it was before. Your character doesn't even level up. Even the shallow interpretation of RPGs where people are like, experience bar filled up and I leveled. Whee! Pokemon's an RPG. JRPGs are totally RPGs. Like, even that shitty interpretation of RPGs, which is also wrong because those aren't RPGs either. Even by that standard, Monster Hunter is not an RPG. It's just a game where you fight boss fights and you get to customize your weapon a bit by on like a tree of upgrade items, like the kind of freaking progression tree you have in like my time in Porsche, where you like, I need these materials to buy the next to build the next better forge and stuff. That makes it a fucking like crafting game. Crafting games aren't inherently RPGs. Meanwhile, fucking Pathologic 2 is one of the most ambitious RPGs ever made, and it doesn't even get fucking nominated. Get fucked, TGAs. I take it back. But also, congrats on Disco Elysium for winning the award. Well deserved. Just very mad that fucking Monster Hunter's expansion gets nominated, but Pathologic 2 doesn't. A primer for small kids. A textbook for first grade in primary school. On the cover, a humanoid bear is pushing a wheelbarrow full of letters. He's not doing a great job. The letter S is dangerously dangling from the cart, while E fell off a long time ago. Children should pay more attention. Bunch of losers. Stupid idiot losers. You hold in your hand the colorful primer. The title reads, A Primer for Small Kids. There's a bear involved. Exactly what I need. This book will show you the score, get you oriented with those basic concepts you appear to be hazy on. The anthropomorphic bear will give you the lowdown of your life. On what? The alphabet. Okay. Every page is one word designating one letter of the alphabet. With a faded illustration, most of them are scientific and cultural principles. It goes as follows. Let's do this. A is for azimuth. Whoa. You're going heavy. B is for Boreas. C is for cosine. D is for diamot. E is for ellipse. F is for phlogiston. Alright. You lost me already. Phlogiston. If I Google it, it asks me if I want to autocorrect it to phlogiston spelled PH. Phlogiston theory. Phlogiston's theory is the superseded scientific theory that postulates that a fire-like element called phlogiston is contained within combustible bodies and released during combustion. The name... Alright. So anything that can burn contains phlogiston, and it releases it whenever the thing is lit on fire. Okay. It was first stated in 1667. That's more recent than I was expecting, to be honest. Yeah, it's straight up spelled not that way. Yeah, even when I click on the one that was spelled with an F, it just the page is secretly spelled PH anyway. All I can find is that over and over again. Okay. So, it's not even spelled right, as far as I can tell, or maybe it's, I don't know. G is for gamut. H is for homeboy. I is for econ. Alright. Here we go. I-I-K-O-N. We're gonna learn things today. All I get is a bunch of results about fucking econ music and econ... What does econ mean? Not fucking all the things named after econ. A representation of some sacred personage as Christ, or a saint or angel, painted usually on a wood surface and venerated in itself as sacred, a sign or representation that stands for its object by virtue of... Wait, does it mean icon? Is that what the word icon is derived from? probably. J is for God damn it. Jura. What does Jura mean? I'm just gonna fucking... Giratodos? Wow. Jura is British English. A mountain range between places and things. Alright. Canton of Western Switzerland bordering France and the... Okay, fuck it. I'm moving on. K is for collapse. I'm just gonna assume it means collapse. L is for laudanum. M is for myriad. N is for nadir. O is for aureole. Oriole. P is for perihelion. Yeah! Q is for quasar. R is for rhododendron. S is for sinus. T is for tricolor. U is for ultra. V is for vector. W is for Wahrheit. Wahrheit? I'm just assuming German in origin. It's apparently German for truth. I think I was right. It was just pronounced Wahrheit. X is for xylophone. Y is for Isteva. Z is for zenith. That's it. That's it. You know the alphabet now. Wow. Look, way to go, me. In what is called the IL, the international language developed by scientists from Grad in the 20s. Sinus means sign, for example. Wait, was this the... Is this like the radio alphabet as opposed to the kids alphabet? Like one that you would say on the... Like one that you would say... like Alpha, Niner, and all that stuff to like explain, like to like spell something out in a way that's not compromised by the low quality of the voice chat, I guess. Kim, I know the alphabet now. Good. I also know the alphabet. Well then I guess we're all set here. Thanks, alphabet book. You really fixed us up. Now I know how to deal with kids. I do not. Children are stupid. Who lives here? I didn't expect to be put in my place by an alphabet book in this game, but I should have expected that, because it is this game. Is there a third twin? No, that's a child. That's a... No. Maybe? Industrial coal pellets burn with an orange glow. Wait, I just stole that from you. I just stole that. Hello, mister. A young girl, barely 4 or 5 years old, sits on the sofa. She's looking at you with frank curiosity. She clutches a small stuffed animal. Occasionally, she twirls it around. Are you Lillian's daughter? Yes, I am. Little Lily. She gazes at you with her big eyes. You know my mom? Yeah, we met earlier. That's nice. My mom's great. She never got angry or anything. Are the twins outside your brothers? Yes. She frowns. They don't want to play with me. They're older and play outside. Suddenly she starts snickering. They look the same. Ha ha ha. Sometimes I can't tell them apart. They look identical, right? I said the same thing. They look identical. She slowly processing the word, then snickers with laughter. What's this? Show her the stuffed bird you took from the ceiling. It's a grouse, she yelps, smiling proudly. Wasn't Guards the cafeteria manager trying to repair a piece of taxidermy? Yes, but what's it for? I don't know. Can I have it? Sure. I mean, you already took it. I don't like it anyway. It looks angry. What's that thing you're holding? Point at her toy. It's Lambie. He's my friend. Sort of. Like, he holds the fuzzy beast up to demonstrate. Lambie is a stuffed lamb that admittedly has seen better days. One of the eye buttons is missing and the fur is tattered in several parts. Oh, okay. Well, pleased to meet you, Lambie. Lambie usually doesn't like strangers, but you're also fuzzy like Lambie. I heard there was a girl who has armored gloves. Is that you? Ooh, she looks alarmed. I had gloves, very big ones. Heavy, too. Where did you get these gloves? Found them when Lambie and I were playing hide and seek in an empty house where no one lives. I think someone hid them there. He doesn't want you to think she stole them. And where are the gloves now? She pouts. I hid them. The twins are going to take them. They're stupid. She lifts her stuffed toy up and looks into it for its one remaining eye, as though searching for confirmation. We're going to need those gloves. It's an important police business. He enunciates the last two words carefully. Ooh. She doesn't seem to understand, but the lieutenant's tone has conveyed to her the important part. They're in my sand castle. She points somewhere outside, behind our house, under the sand. You can break the castle. It's not very good. Goodbye. Bye. The girl's large, curious eyes remain fixated on you. Wasn't she nice and very useful? Straightforward and friendly, solving multiple problems. I'm going to ingratiate myself to the poor guy in the lobby who hates me by giving him another grouse, probably. I'm going to get these gloves, which maybe will give me even more authority points, at which point I might have to suck it up and just put them on in front of Kim, even though he'd be like, you took those from the corpse. And then I can, like, assert my authority. Oh. Perfect crime. I'd tell Kim to go deal with the body, and then I'd assert my authority while he's not looking, and he doesn't know that I'm in boot mode or whatever. But then maybe he misses out on an interaction that he might help me with. I don't know. Weather has not been kind to Lily's little sandcastle. The once mighty towers are quickly eroding away. You can see something shining back to you from what must have been a vast underground catacomb network. Broken. A little castle? The lieutenant smiles a little. The reigning lord must have come upon some really tough times to let it slip in such decrepitude. Reach into the catacombs and pull out the shiny object. I've got gauntlets. Hip hip hooray. And I leveled up again, which means I now have 2 points again. The walls and floors give way to the giant's greed, collapse, and present you with a pair of ceramic gauntlets. Congratulations, that's the gauntlets down then. We're doing good for the armor collection front. Does he know I have the boots? I haven't told him yet. The ruffled grouse taxidermy. It's got like a mane, doesn't it? The dead body of a grouse stuffed with some unknown material. From a distance it might just pass off as the real thing. The bird itself looks extremely ruffled and slightly grumpy. I've got... No! They do give me 2 interfacing though. Ooh, interfacing. I do like some interfacing. Interfacing. That's even better than what I had before. Interfacing wise. This gives me authority points, which I'm specifically bad at having. Oh, I'm at 0 right now. That's unusually good. I have a -1. I'm not wearing any anti-authority items on me right now. That's actually unusual for me. Yeah. But I have an anti-authority thought. Which I don't necessarily remember which one that is, if I'm being honest. This is a complicated screen full of a lot of stuff that's happening. I somehow managed to click through them all without noticing which one was giving me -1 authority, so that's neat. Oh, I'm looking for purple. I was looking for red. My bad. Authority. Oh. Anti-authority because I'm a commie. Yep. Yep. Well, I'm done with these gloves, I guess. You served me well, gloves, but now I've got power gloves that make me even more good at interfacing. I was hoping they'd give me more authority, if I'm being totally honest. Ba-boom. Looking slightly ridiculous now. Look at those authority points I've got here, but my poor composure is taking a hit. But now I could put 2 points into authority if I wanted to. Maybe I should do the check, then put a point into authority, then do the check, then put a point into authority, and like loop a little bit. So I think you reset the check each time. You look down at the white ceramic sabatons hugging your arches and calves, surprised at how well they fit. Your movements cause tiny little clinks, like dice rolling somewhere far away, as the plates reorient to your motions. I will be responsible with this. This is just to protect me from harm, not to show off. The hardened, virtuous enamel. Vitreous enamel. At once sleek and light, adds a glow to your cheeks and a spring to your step. Just imagine what a full suit of this stuff could do for you. You really do feel more confident. Invulnerability does that. Even partial invulnerability. One down, 2 pieces to go. Here I come. 2. Are you sure you're correct there? There was a helmet too. 3 pieces more like. You were ambitious. Yeah, I want the full suit. It may take a while before you have all the pieces. In the meantime, you should analyze the armor, figure out its vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities? I need to think about the armor now. Remember, this is a highly specialized kinetic redistributor meant to stop bullets. Wear it, observe its properties, see if there's a weakness in the design. For the day you have to fight someone covered in the same material. Interesting. Hard move, reduced stealth. Yeah, that's about right. I'm not great at that. I have to keep my art degree at all costs. It's too important. And I like my 3 shivers. Betrayal lingers everywhere. It's hard to choose what to remove from this tree sometimes. Oh, this is useless. Learning cap of perception raised to 5. To 5. Like, I already have more than that. Speed gives me 1 psi. I'm not going to use speed. So let's start processing my armor now. There we go. Still keeping 1 point around. In case. You should come back here when it snows. A strange feeling, it passes quickly. Looking back at you from the rust-colored water, you. Wait, take a longer look at yourself, and how you've reflected in that slick chemical rainbow. What do you see? Metaphor, it's always metaphor. Some kind of metaphor for me? This is more important than you. That's the blood of industry you see before you. The runoff from Coal City, further down the coast. The engines of fortune once roared here. Great wealth poured into Revicol, the Delta, as did smoke, waste, sickness, life. What happened? The engine stopped. The West Revicolian industrial base was dismantled after the war. Now extinguished coke furnaces dot the landscape. A landscape despoiled by industry. There was a serious dereliction of duty in this cleanup. Perhaps you could dedicate your life to cleaning it up. But you're a cop, you must concern yourself with different messes. Even so, it's pretty to think. seems like a right mess. I seem to have not reacted to putting the gloves on. No. Not necessarily. I was curious. He reacted to the boots going on. Probably because it's the one you're most likely to find first. A little black swallow circles above you. You hear it chirp. A chirrup. I guess I've already went... Yeah, I'm somewhere around here. I'm uncomfortable. I'm not used to areas being bigger than my screen in each direction. So my ability to comb through is slightly compromised. I gotta be careful. The beams are splintered. The bridge didn't collapse on its own. Artillery broke it. That's all damage. Can I get up there? The water runs from the west. The source is upstream. A broken pipe? Ooh, what's that? Morale and health. Neat. Something else is done, but they're not sorted, and the new done quests aren't labeled, so it's actually hard to tell what they are. But it should be the gloves. Ah, the list is a little shorter now, and some of these are stupid. There's plenty here I don't care about. Find all the armor pieces. You want all the armor pieces. Deck yourself out in full metal, battle-hardened glory. NB. This might take a while, though. Like a long while. So I have the boots, I have the gloves. I don't think I even have a hint about where the remaining ones are. No. Not yet. The rear tire of a motor carriage adorns these reeds. That's a Noland Vint Sink, an unsuccessful model. Rust-eaten letters read Mazout. Let's go back here and click here again. Click. Double click for running. How does my character get there? Whoa, we're going somewhere. Oh, okay. Like way around. Way around. Well, I've already committed. I'll just let him keep going. And then I'll walk my way back out. At first glance, I thought it was out of bounds. I'm getting more Pippo. What's a Pippo again? It's a hat. Oh yeah, it's like a weird beanie. The found Pippo. Pippo. 2 logic, -1 perception. Not a bad trade-off. It's definitely some kind of net gain. But I like my hat. The small wire framing inside this futuristic-looking found Pippo hat gives the aerodynamic shape of a swoop skier's helmet, but none of its protective qualities. Covers the wearer's ears and eyebrows to bring down the drag coefficient. And a bit of a variety here. I might try to sort these at some point into categories, if the game even lets you. I'm not sure if it really does, but sorting each costume into a separate row might be kind of nice, but I don't think I can keep going down. I think the new rows are only added as I max out the current ones, which is making this slowly turn into like a nightmare to look at. I like to put the hats together. The gloves, the boots, the glasses. Undershirts, overshirts, glasses, pants, gloves, boots, my only other tie, and then hats. Probably not a worthwhile sorting, but here we go. It kind of makes sense for a second. It's getting to be a crowded interface. I have like a whole goddamn thrift store on my in my invisible backpack, just coming around with me. Oop, hello. The door's not only barred shut, it's inaccessible. Didn't think you'd have to take that path around, but okay. The sign says Interrogate. An older ticket taker booth, no longer in operation. A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching out from one corner to another. Why this many bullet holes? Whoa, oh no. It's an execution. Right. Execution by firing squad. A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet, no sound, no movement. 10 meters away, other shades are lined up in orderly manner, automatic rifles primed, a gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. The sun blazes high up in the sky, baking the planks, the sand, your skin. The order was carried out in the afternoon. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusilating. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace remains. What is this? The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier had the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed. Look at the people against the wall. A host of men in probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations, as demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes. They stand facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background. Look at the line of soldiers. 7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side, but from which one? Look at the person standing on the side. The commandant. The one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air. The lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face. Kim, who was in this execution? At first, the lieutenant doesn't say a word. He just stares at the wall. I don't know, he says, finally. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution. Perhaps the one executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists put to death during the last stretch of the conflicts by the coalition forces. It could have even been the employees of the failed R&D center down the coast, as their building was taken over by the revolutionaries. Or maybe... What about people from the coalition, the so-called moralists? Yeah, it's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the wall. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it's going to be the commandant, the supervisor giving the orders. Goodbye. A cold sea wind blows away the figures. God damn. Ancient paint is peeling off the roof of this shaded bench covered in rust. Because this place hasn't been paved back over or renovated or reinvented, but largely left abandoned, a lot of it is just a living relic of the war that happened a while ago. Like, so many buildings are obliterated or full of bullet holes and still showing the actual signs of the hurt that happened here. And they're still hurting. The boathouse is shoddily constructed. A strong breeze might blow it over. The place where both the world and the people haven't healed. Not really. Hypno-gamma. Oversized superstar sunglasses. It gives you the stealth points, but kills your, not stealth points. +1 savoir-faire for dazzling reflexes. -1 visual calculus for the mirror lies. Is your own stardom too dazzling for your eyes? Can't bear to look at your own fabulous reflection in the mirror? Then these classic oversized sunglasses are for you. No, I've faced my mirror and lost. And then won, which is losing. No boat in the boathouse today. This section of the coast hasn't been used in decades. Tiny cages carefully constructed.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
It's Morel. There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap. He notices you.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officer.
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements ungainly. He looks like your understanding of a scientist.
Is that the police? Why's the police here?
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it.
You must be Morel, the cryptozoologist.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
That's sarcasm. He takes no pleasure from your appearance. You don't seem too happy to see the RCM.
Oh no, it's all right. I'm just busy. What's this about?
Lena sent me. She's been really worried about you and is waiting for you to get back.
Ah, of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damned waterlock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881.
The 881 is a raised motorway that separates Martinez from Jamrock. The labyrinth of streets underneath it makes it difficult to pass. Not like walking over a nice waterlock. The waterlock is fixed. It was fine when I crossed it.
Oh good. We should really be getting back. Gaddy could use a hot shower and a warm bed.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gaddy, we can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
He refastens a bit of netting and has come loose in the wind. His hands are large and weather-worn, but also used to delicate, precise work. For all his passion, this man is diligent and patient. You could learn things from him. Tell me more about this phasmid you're looking for. Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it. What makes it so difficult to find? Good question. Being a phasmid, of course. Being a phasmid of the order Phasmamodiea, a ghost insect. It disguises itself as plant matter, in this case the reeds. He looks around. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? And I suspect it may also have developed other specialized techniques to protect itself from predators, or scientists in our present case. I withheld the story of how I broke the lock, just because it seemed really not relevant, or kind of just pointless to include. What sorts of specialized techniques is the phasmid using to hide itself? It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defenses that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex. But I cannot describe how these defenses work, much less how they evolved, without studying a live specimen. A ghost insect, he said. These people are looking for a ghost. Ghost insect, so you're ghost hunters? No. That is precisely what we're not. We are zoological specialists, looking for an extant species of phasmid. How big is this phasmid? I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodia joensis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm, so he leaves the conclusion up to you. Why are you so interested in this dick bug? Aren't there more sensational animals out there? He flashes you a sideways smile. Typical rookie assumption. Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for. Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of any cryptozoologist's career. But to study it and its defenses, find out how it stayed hidden so long. He shakes his head. What have you discovered about it so far? Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's even captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third hand accounts. So no one's ever found one. Not yet. He holds up an index finger. That's what makes it a cryptid. The lieutenant interjects. Just out of curiosity. If there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real? I know it's real, the cryptozoologist says, brusquely enough that even he seems taken aback by it. It's clear that his obsession with the phasmid is driven by something more than the pure pursuit of scientific advancement. By which I mean, he says, gathering himself, I've had enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than just mere superstition. Lena said there's been a sighting of it here in Martinez. Yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for the species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore. Maybe the Insulindian phasmid has died out. The cryptozoologist shakes his head vigorously. I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis. He means asexual reproduction. The females of the species don't need to mate in order to produce viable eggs. This makes it easier for a species with a small population to survive. That's pretty clever. Yes, the Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I try my best to remain dispassionate. You failed. Tell me more about these traps. Well, he points at the cage of mesh and wiring on the ground. They may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick. Lena designed the traps? Yes, he says with some pride. How do the traps work? Simple. Attracted by the locust, the phasmid crawls down the funnel, and having eaten its fill, can't get back out. At least that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton. What are you using as bait? Locusts. He gestures towards the trap. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course, but we've hypothesized that the Insulindian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects. Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny, chittering swarm. What will you do if these traps don't work? They'll work, I'll assure you. Their predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams, which use plants. We have given this some thought. The traps too seem to be deftly and thoughtfully constructed. It's clear the cryptozoologist's wife knows what she's doing. Well, good for her. Pro stuff going on here. Still, assuming that the only reason they failed was because, oh, they must not eat plants, doesn't mean that they will work. It's just an assumption. Let me ask you about something else. Yes, what? Elena seems pretty eager for you to return. And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you, but I can't leave before we've finished with these traps. He looks south, where Lena would be. My wife understands that just as well as anyone. South? I thought north was up. What directions are directions? A map is not a map unless it has a compass rose and a scale. This is a scale right here. So if you could read the label on this, which you can't, then you would know how big the map is. And so you'd have a scale. But you also need to have a north arrow. I thought these were north arrows. But if these are north arrows, then what's up with the fact that he's telling me the wrong thing? So I just went through here. I went off camera, actually. Yeah. I went through here and up like around here. Like you can go off this map in this direction. So we're over here and she's over here, which is definitely not south if north is up on this thing. But yeah, there's nothing in the game. There's nothing on the screen telling you which way is north technically. I just thought these plus signs were that, but maybe not. Come on, Moro. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back. And leave the traps? Absolutely not. He yells in response. I won't let Lena down. Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon. I didn't know the phasmid was so important to Lena. Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting on record. One of only 4 of the century, and it's hers. She's seen it? Really, she sighted the phasmid. She didn't tell me that. Yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact. That's her story to tell, not mine. He coughs, then continues. Ah, that's why it's so important to her, and it's also why it's important to him. It's like the foundation of their relationship. It's their lifelong mission. Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian phasmid together. I can't abandon course now. Another cough, into his fist this time. Okay, I understand. I don't give up on things either. Good. A good quality to have. Both for a police officer and an experimental zoologist. I could go for some trap setting. What if we check the traps for you? He looks at you with obvious surprise. I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer. Cryptozoology and detective work are very similar. Yes, indeed. Both require a great deal of research, attention to detail, and above all, persistence. Where are these traps? There are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there. He points south. It's very near. Another we set in Land's End to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there, on your way to the old radio tower after the church. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed, by the concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds goes up the slope, and among them, he gestures to the trap in front of him. You should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. There's one more. This one's more of a technicality, but still, better safe and stupid than sorry. It seems like a lot. Do we really have time for this extracurricular venture? What, aren't you having fun? Even relative to examining a week-old corpse, I'm not sure mucking around the reeds qualifies as fun. But have it your way, detective. What'd I do if there's a phasmid in one of the traps? Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight. He's not comfortable with the possibility that you'll claim the find, but he's lying about this even to himself. What if I encounter the phasmid in the wild? That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event that you do, he takes out a small white spray can. I'll spray you with the pheromone mixture I developed. It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromones should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last you about a week. Lay it on me. Oh god. He douses you with the odd-smelling spray and then gives you a satisfied nod. This is the smell of dying reeds, of longing crumbling into the water. The lieutenant wrinkles his nose. I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious, like holy water. It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 reals to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research. He looks at the lieutenant with disdain, then puts the spray back in his pocket. I'm ready. Let's get to it. Right, which means you two can pack up and go back to the whirling. Finally! Someone's talking sense? Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be gone once you get to it. If it's more cryptid-related business you want to discuss, you'll have time for that later, too. What about his eager-to-leave friend, Gary there? Talk to him, too, perhaps? How did you become a cryptozoologist? I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both. So you're living your childhood dream out here. His eyes narrow. It's not child's play just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often. That's not what I meant, but okay. Why not just be a zoologist? Real animals are puzzling too. Real? He scoffs at the concept. I know you think one is a respectable possession while the other is superstition. Everyone does. Honestly, being a cryptozoologist trumps most of the garbage I've seen people do. A hum and a nod. My methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence. And I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen. And has anything truly surprising ever happened to you? I have yet to catch a cryptid, if that's what you're getting at, but I have come close. Interesting. Something for later, this close call. What kind of evidence do you use? Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper accounts like the one that brought us here to look for the phasmid. I keep a very open mind. He's interested in things that people believe the scientists don't. You think other scientists don't listen to ordinary people enough? Most establishment scientists only care about reputation and remuneration, not real research, and certainly not the truth. They're a cowardly lot. And both the field and the basement archives can be dangerous places. So you've never discovered a cryptid? No. Very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for lack of trying. To stay hidden in a cryptid's to stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name, cryptid. So how many cryptids have been found? Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemney, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries, the rest in differing stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection. Only 2 have been proven real. Yes, the Xiaotaoquan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Yugograd, who is honestly quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves. More so even than the public. Most cryptids are hoaxes, or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching. I don't even know what to say. That's a small number of discoveries. Do you know what the success rate is in the pharmacological research is? 0.000003% of bioreactive agents have reproducibly beneficial effects. Yet science persists in the search for medicine, as we persist in our search for a new species. I feel like those aren't directly comparable necessarily, because you're kind of just trying things and figuring out what stuff might turn out to be useful in pharmacological research, whereas like these are you hearing an animal is supposed to be real and then investigating it to find out that it's not real, and it being basically never true. I don't know. There's inherently like a more of a shot in the dark element to trying to discover new, like make new discoveries versus this. Thanks for explaining that. Now, about something else. Let's talk about specific cryptids. He eyes you skeptically. Alright, what cryptids precisely? I usually discuss these things with specialists, so I don't know what we would have to discuss, he wants to say, but decides against it since you've offered to help. Which cryptid did you almost catch? You said before you almost caught one. A willow person. It's a long story. One non-specialist would find rather dull. Willow people? Not at all. What are willow people? They're not people, really. Some argue that they're not even animals, as they seem to have evolved directly from trees. He says it in a self-explanatory, everyday manner. They're very, very thin, almost flat, in fact. They can camouflage themselves easily, wrapping themselves around trees and blending in with the tree bark. In that way, they're not too dissimilar from the phasmid we are looking for here. Wait, so I may have seen one of these willow people without knowing it? You probably have. How did you almost catch a willow person? Gary and I painted an entire grove's worth of trees in slow-drying paint. It was a bright lavender color. I was hoping one of the willow people would get paint on it and would not be able to camouflage itself. After waiting and hiding for hours, I saw a figure slip from one of the trees, a lavender shadow dashing through the grove. And then I chased it with a net, not very elegant, but you can't be elegant in the field, and, well, it was faster than me. Lavender shadow, he smirks. I know you think we were snacking on funny mushrooms. It's easier to mock someone than to admit that the world might be more interesting than you've imagined. Furthermore, he raises his finger, I am not saying it was a confirmed sighting. I am painfully aware of what goes into verifying such things. There is a serious possibility that I saw a squirrel or a trick of the light. I am my own harshest critic. He makes it a real point here to sound falsifiable. And Lena's sighting of a phasmid is that? Confirmed, he replies quickly. It's 100% verified and meets all the standards for an authentic cryptid sighting. Just tell me about a cool cryptid, any cryptid. No offense, officer, but I'm not much of a pedagogue. I don't know what I would have done if Lena hadn't persuaded me to go back into field research. You should ask her if you want interesting stories. Me? I'm not a people's person, unless you haven't noticed. And I don't make a good lecturer. My strength lies in field work and persistence. He brushes an errant strand of hair from his eye. Enough tales then, let's change the subject. I'll get going. There we go. Well, that was a fun little conversation with an interesting, strange character. A Willow person.